gonna go over how to we're gonna go how to sign up, what you need to do, how the classes work, and how the whole thing works together and how you can participate, right? So I got a few people here that's going to be able to share some information. I just want everyone to understand this program is a special program, and we want people to give your best effort. If you're going to make a call or you have a call back or you're supposed to do something, you need to follow through and make sure that happens. Not everybody can be in this program. Before we opened it up, we had a lot of people in there. Now we're going to be very selective. If you're not willing to do your part, then somebody else will. We believe this program is very beneficial to you and your family and your future, and it can save you a lot of money. It can make you a lot of money, and we feel very, very important for people to understand. We need to make this thing very efficient. So Beverly's going to go over how the mortgage program works and what it's set up. And keep in mind, this is a general program. There's different categories of each program. Wherever you qualify for is where we're going to put you. So not everybody, it's just like not everybody wears the same size shoe, right? Or the same size clothes. It has to be catered to you. It's in general, everybody likes Nike, but not everybody wears the same size. So take it like that. It's going to be for you, about you, and we're going to do the best by everybody that signs up. So Beverly, if you don't mind introducing yourself and talk a little bit about the program, we'd love to hear you.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Beverly Bolden. I am the Vice President of the Westside Legends. And tonight we are here and we want to get together and go over a few things and talk about our great Westside homeownerships program that we have. This program is a collaboration between Westside Legends and GREYLOCK Federal Credit Union. We are helping minority homeowners become homeowners in Berkshire County and anywhere where GREYLOCK services. And so we have done very well in making a lot of folks become homeowners that have been renting for years. We do have various programs, what GREYLOCK does, where if you do not fit directly into the Westside Legend profile, there are other opportunities for homeownership that GREYLOCK also can provide and help. And so the first step would be to listen to one of our videos that introduces you to our program and gives you the steps that you'll be taking onto homeownership. There's so many different steps and there's so many different people that would be along the way to help you with your journey. As you can see, we have John Sapella here, who is a realtor. In the future, we will be having classes that will provide homeownership guidance, credit report, budgeting with GREYLOCK, and so many other things. We'll have a home inspector on to go over how home inspections work. But right now, your first steps is to get the information, sign the Google Sheet, and put in how many years you've worked, what your estimated credit score is, how many people in your family. So once we get this information gathered, we will send something out to you that says either you pre-qualify for to go to the next step. We will tell you where you will land, but we will have to pull your credit first, which has nothing to do, it's a soft pull. And so once we talk with GREYLOCK and find out if you're approved to enter this program or one of their other programs, you will either be assigned a coach at GREYLOCK if you need to get more education, or if your credit is okay and you meet all the other things, you may be able to get pre-approved right then. But the key is having accurate information, because if we don't get the right information up front, it gets kind of hard. Once you verify it, we have to go back and say, okay, this program may not work for you. And so just be kind of cognizant that putting the most accurate information when you're filling out these sheets is really, really important. And so once you get the video and your introductory letter from one of us, you will then have a meeting, and we will try to have these meetings once a month, where everyone will have time to ask questions about the program. You'll know your timelines, you'll know who's going to be contacting you. Tony, Marvin, and myself will be one of your mentors. You may have a coach assigned from GREYLOCK. And then if your credit needs a little bit of work, one of those coaches will work with you personally on a budget or building your credit. There will be classes that you will have to take. And then once you get to a point where your ability to pay a mortgage has been met, you will be moved on to back to GREYLOCK's area of lending, which Mila is a part of. And then at that point, Mila will take it from there and her underwriting team to see if you're ready to be pre-approved. And so once you are pre-approved, you get a pre-approval letter. There will be a realtor that will be assigned to you to help you start looking for homes. And you will have to meet with the realtor, go over, what you feel comfortable with. John is going to explain everything to you about that process, and you'll be in good hands then. And then, once you get under contract, I can let John speak a little bit about that part of it. So John, would you like to take it from there and explain?
Sure. My name is John Sapella. I'm with All Seasons Realty Group. I am a realtor partner with the Westside Legends. I've been a realtor since 2004 and been blessed to help a lot of families within the Westside Legends find homes. When you have your pre-approval, you'll sit with me, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's in my office or on the phone, and we're going to talk about your needs, what you're looking for. I'll put together a search, and we'll go out and start to look at houses. Once we find a house, we'll then put together an offer, present that offer to the listing agent, and if it's accepted, then we will send your contract off to the bank, and I will be in coordination with the bank as your attorney. I'm with you the entire process. So I will kind of be your coach in your ear, guiding you through the entire process of the purchase. I will be there for the bank, for the lawyer, for you, answer any questions. I will be there for the inspection. I know I'm kind of giving you a speed version of this, and in future videos and talks, we'll break things down smaller, but I'm basically with you from A to Z for your entire real estate transaction, right up to the closing. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So that's great information. Thanks, Beverly. Thanks, John. So this couldn't happen if we didn't have somebody with money, right? So GREYLOCK is the person in the financial institution that's entrusting us to get people houses. And we're really looking forward to doing that. But we had to change things. We can't give everybody a house. We'd love to give everybody a house. But we need to be able to have people who really are dedicated and really want to do the work. And I want to emphasize that because, there's a lot of phone calls. Hey, listen, nobody got back to me. Nobody did this. Nobody did that. This whole process is being streamlined. So like Beverly says, you sign up through the Google Docs. We get that information. You get a welcome letter. The letter will explain how the program works. And then we have once a month, we have a meeting where you get to come in there and get to ask those questions. How it works. What do I need to do? Do I take 3 classes and get my pre-qualified letter? No. you're gonna get your letter when you're ready to purchase. So there's different things we want to educate people, and the more information we give you, the more successful we'll be. So I want to introduce Myla. She can go over what GREYLOCK stance is and what they want to do to make home ownership approvable for everybody in the community. So welcome, Myla.
Hey, Tony, thank you guys. So my name is Myla Franklin. I'm the Community Lending Officer for GREYLOCK Federal Credit Union. Very happy and excited to be part of this program. The first thing that happens is when you're on the list and after you signed up, you've talked to Tony or Beverly or one of the mentors and they've approved you, they're going to give you my phone number. When I get your phone number, I'm going to give you a call, reach out, talk to you about a little bit about what you're looking for a home, talk about the process a little, talk about some products that we have at GREYLOCK Federal Credit Union that we can offer you for mortgages, and just kind of see what you want and how you want to get things done. If you're on a fast path and you want to get pre-qualified right away, if you feel like you want to take your time and kind of figure things out as you go, then we can, we're very flexible with that. But what I'll do is I'll get you pre-qualified. I'll have you set up an appointment. We'll schedule that appointment. In that appointment, I'm going to have you bring certain documents, and those documents are individual to the person that I'm talking to. So some people will need, obviously, to verify their income and verify other things in their life. But once I have that application, once I have that information, then we'll schedule that appointment. We'll have it. We'll have you fill everything out, and then we'll get you pre-qualified. If something comes up during that process and I can't pre-qualify you, then we do have the option to send you back over to coaching and have you talk to a budgeting coach or a financial coach to help improve those things.
Excellent, Myla. That's really great. I really like the fact that we're going to work with you. No matter what your situation is, it's what you put into it, you're going to get out of it, right? And this is real like a quick overview. One thing that we forgot to mention is you have to sign the release form, right? We can't share information as mentors to help you if we don't know what we're trying to help you with, right? The bank cannot give out any information about anything or anybody, right? And part of the program is John Sapello wants to help you. Marvin wants to help you. But if they don't have the information, they're very limited. It's very general information. We had some things that happened where a person was going to buy a house and it was a bad situation. And we had to go to John and say, hey, John, how do we get this person out of there? But if we didn't have that information and it wasn't shared to us, guess what? The person would have lost a lot of money. So it's very serious. And we put these things in place to help you, right? So it's all about us helping you and you helping yourself. So Marv, we just want to go over the welcome letter and just add any of your comments and just introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Marvin Purry. I'm with Westside Legends. As Myla was saying, Tony was saying, we're going to send you a letter walking you through these steps on how to participate in the mortgage program. We know that this is not, this is probably your biggest investment in a lifetime. And as much as we talk about it, it sounds pretty easy. It really, you got to put some work into it. But if you put the work into it, it will be worth your while. It'll be worth your time. With purchasing a home, you have the opportunity to build wealth through equity. You take care of your house over time. Never depreciates. It always appreciates in value. This is value that you can sit there and build through this equity. So a lot of people pay rent. You're paying somebody else. Why pay somebody else when you could pay yourself? Now, what do I mean by that? As a tax accountant, I know that you'll be better off itemizing than you are right now taking standard deductions, because you know what? Your deductions are going to be much higher than the standard deduction. So if you're paying tax now, you pay less tax. You may even get a refund. If you're getting refunds, your refunds will be bigger because you're allowed to take the deduction for your interest and your deduction for your real estate taxes. So it's a win-win with this program. But just don't think because you went through 3 classes, you can just walk out and get a house. That will not happen. If you take your time, more or less like the tortoise and the hare, slow wins the race. And when you win that race, you will celebrate the spoils of your victory. So if you have any questions, let us know and we'll help you. We've all been through this process. We can tell you the ins and out of home ownership. Don't be shy. Please let us know. I think that's all I really have to share there, T.
All right, thanks, Marv. That's great. So I just shared the group Facebook, and I got a couple people that want to say hi. Does anybody know Jody? Say hi to Jody real quick, right?
Hey, Jody.
So
Hey, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
if anybody on Facebook has any questions or anything we can answer, we're going to try to keep this short and brief, but if you have something on there, just hit me up real quick and I'll see if I can get those answered. But now I'm just going to go general questions to people and give you some information. Like, let's start with John. John, what do I do about getting an inspection? Can you help us with that? Is that part of this program?
Yes. So the West Side Legends, in partnership with Cary Home Inspections, have offered a special rate to the West Side Legends clients. It includes a regular home inspection and a sewer scope. Now, sewer scopes are very important. The poop needs to go somewhere. So we bundled that all together at a very special price for a single family of $350. A duplex is $450 because it's basically 2 houses. That is a savings over a regular Johnny off the street price. And it's a very comprehensive inspection, and you get a full report. As your agent, I get a copy of it as well to go over with you. And we sit down and we go through the line items and concerns about the property. Thank you.
Great, thanks, John. Beverly, I got a question for you.
All right.
Family of color. Can you break down how that works and what's a family of color and why is that necessary? Can you help us out with that, please?
I certainly can, Tony. So a family of color could be a husband or a wife that is a minority, Black, African American, or if you have your husband is African American and everyone else is a different minority, it works. And so everyone, as long as you have someone in the family where you're going to be creating generational wealth, that is considered a person of color, family of color. When we first started the program, it was individual or family, but as we thought about it, we have a lot of families that are, mixed. We have everyone, the rainbow. And so we want to make sure that we're reaching all folks and being as inclusive as possible. So
Great.
yes, that's the definition.
Yeah. So I got a question from Myla. So the program says something about 100% financing. So I can buy a house without spending any money? Is that true? That's what I heard. You guys are going to be able to give me a house without me spending any money. Can you tell us if that's true or false?
Well, that's not true. What you do have to do is you do have to have some money in the bank. You have to have some assets sitting there waiting for closing. So there are some expenses that you're going to need. You're going to need your attorney's fees, title work. There's a lot of other things behind the scenes that you need. There's application fees. There's all kinds of costs, and those we can discuss when you have your pre-qualification. We'll kind of go over what some of the fees are.
This question's from Marvin. How do I know how much I'm going to pay? Is it just $1,000, $500? Is there a calculator? What do you guys use to figure out what my mortgage payment is, or an idea where my mortgage payment is? Can you tell me about that?
I believe, and there are calculators out on Google and the internet to tell you, but I believe your mortgage payment should be 25% of your monthly income. That could be a little bit here and there. You know what? You don't have to be exact. If you can find 20% of your income. And let me just add this, because I was going to ask Tony this question. You know, we sit there, we talk about mortgage payments. Yeah, we're going to ask you questions too, sir. You know, so you hear the term mortgage payment, and I'm glad you brought that up. What exactly is included in your mortgage payment?
Good question. So in my mortgage payment, I have an escrow, which pays for my property tax, my insurance, and all I have to do is make that one payment to my bank, and they take that and they pay my taxes. So guess what? I forgot to pay my taxes, and the next thing you know, I got padlocks on my door and I'm moving out, right? Because one less thing I have to do. And I enjoy that. Same thing with insurance. So I love having all my one payment and my house is taken care of. So that's a good question, Marvin. So John, why do I need an attorney? You know, Marvin's a great guy. He can represent me. Why do I need an attorney? What's that about? Why do I
Well,
pay that money?
An attorney needs to do a 50-year title search to make sure that there's clean title. The attorney works with the bank and handles all the closing documents. I am not licensed in that. So as a realtor, I can't help you. And it would be a conflict of GREYLOCK or interest with GREYLOCK for them to present their documents to you for you to sign without you having proper representation. Your attorney is in your corner. If there's a title issue, if something comes up on the plot plan, or we have a legal question regarding your financing, whether it's a contingency question, you know, I'm immediately consulting with not only the bank, but your attorney.
Great, thanks. Beverly, question. Can I go into buying a house with my girlfriend or just a friend, or does it have to be a family member? Can you help me out? I mean,
Well,
I
I
don't
can.
want to spend everything on myself, but what's
Right. Well, the first question I would ask is, are you serious about your boyfriend? If you're gonna go on a loan with him, and if there's any doubt in your mind, don't do it. That's my first thing. But yes, you are able to go on as long as you both, you know, make sure he has a job and that he's contributing. And, you know, maybe you're planning on getting married, or maybe you want to go on with your mom, you know, or your sisters. Yes, whoever's going to be living in that house, you both can go on there. But you just want to make sure, because a lot of folks have falling out over, you know, hoping that buying a house and, you know, living together is going to work, but down the line, you know, you put the money down and things didn't work out, but now he owns half of the house. And so you want to make sure that you, if you need to seek an attorney to get, you know, some clear advice, that you do that before, you know, if you have any questions about what you're doing. So, yes.
Well, that's important. So be careful of who you decide to buy a house with.
Right.
Normally a family member, because that relationship is everlasting. But if it's someone you really genuinely care about and the two of you are compatible, just make sure you have an exit plan in case that comes into play. So thanks, Beverly. Milo.
Hey, Tony, can I just add to that right quick?
Sure.
I'm sure that, you know, just nice, short, sweet. I'm sure everybody has heard the term, love does not pay the rent. And in this case, love does not pay the mortgage.
Very true.
Remember that.
I like that. So I got a question for Milo. So I found this house, but it's not in the greatest of shape. But the deal is really good. But I need money to fix it up. Does GREYLOCK have any programs that can help me buy a house? And I don't mind putting the work into it because I think I can build up equity. Does GREYLOCK have something like that? Does this program have something?
So Tony, that answer is yes. So we do have an ability to build some repairs into the mortgage. But it's not limitless. We do have to look at the appraised value of the home, and there's some things that we have to do. So talk to your real estate agent. When you're doing it, talk to John Sapella, let him know what you're interested in, and then he's going to kind of guide you through that program or process and let you know if it's achievable.
Great. So I can find a house. It needs a little work, but I like it because it's in a great area and I don't mind doing the work. If I'm handy, great. I can get that sweat equity. Mark, can you talk about equity and what that means for a person and personal finance and health? I mean, that's important. What is that?
Equity is the difference between the value of the home and the amount that you owe on your mortgage. So, for example, let's say that you've purchased a home, $100,000. So now years are going by, you're paying down on it, you're doing well, job's good, life's good, you're paying down, you're paying over, let's say 20 years. So let's say 10 years down the road, you've paid off 50 grand of it, okay? So 100, which is your original purchase price. Now, matter of fact, I'm gonna take that back because 10 years down the road, your house is probably appreciated in value. So that house that you bought for 100 grand, it's probably worth 125 grand now. And now you've paid off 50 grand off the original note. So 125 minus the 50 is $75,000 of equity. That's yours. So you sell that house, guess what? Your equity is 75,000 minus, you have a couple of things that if you decide to sell, because you know what, when you purchase a home, your first home should be a starter home unless you have money like that. You can move into a bigger house. You can use the equity on this house as a down payment on a bigger home and just keep moving that equity. And the bigger the home, the bigger the value, the bigger appreciation value. And that equity that you're building becomes generational because now you can pass it down to your kids. And that's a great thing. And it's funny that you asked me that question because you know what, again, I got another question for you.
I was gonna ask one.
Or anybody that can answer this. Know what, Tony, I'm gonna let you off the hook. I'm gonna give this one. You know what? I'm gonna give this one to you, Beverly. Yeah.
Well, I have one for Tony after that, so.
Okay, you know what? I'll let you go off the hook. I'm gonna go to John with this one then.
Okay.
This is gonna be going for John. Is the appraisal value and the sale price the same thing?
No.
No.
No. And I'm actually going to defer to Mila on what the appraised value of a house is. I know that it has to be 80, the bank will only finance 80% of the sale price. So the appraised value can be different than the sale price. But I think Mila can explain the appraised value better than me.
Well, I think you did a pretty good job. I think we're all set for that.
I mean,
Well, I will just add that one of the differences is the sales price is a price that is attached to the value of the property when you're selling it. Sometimes folks attach a value because they've had the property for a long time or they put improvements in the property over the years. And so they maybe feel like it should be selling for more than what it's worth. The appraised value is when you have an appraiser who is licensed go out and do evaluations on the property, and they take comparable properties in the neighborhood, normally under a mile, and then they compare the number of bathrooms versus all the other three. They make adjustments, the number of bedrooms, if it has a big backyard, and then it gets reconciled. And that would be the official appraised value that the bank would use. So in this environment where the properties are selling over the sales price, sometimes it may not be the appraised value. And so the bank will normally use the lesser of the two when they're lending you the money. So.
See, I knew you could answer that question. I knew you could answer the question. All of a sudden, we couldn't answer the question. Now it's
My
like,
own
I'm gonna break
underwriting
it down
hat
for
on.
y'all. Thank you. That's what was needed. So
I know.
That's right. That is an underwriting question.
It is. So Tony, tell the people are the advantages of a condo or a townhouse versus a single family home?
Great question, Beverly. So I lived in both, all right? So when I had my condo, I had to pay an HOA fee. And I'm wondering why I have to pay this fee. But I loved it when the first time it snowed and I woke up and everything was plowed and shoveled and I didn't have to do anything. That was great. Not only that, they had a swimming pool. I didn't have to clean the pool. So the condos and townhouses, the HOA basically covers those kind of costs for those things. Now, when I bought my house and I had the pool there, I had to have that pool ready every weekend for the kids. Money, time, and effort goes into those things that you own as a house and you don't have the HOA. So the biggest difference is the HOA basically covers things that you'd have to do yourself and it's done for you. As you get a little older up in age, you might not want to go out and shovel, you might not want to cut your grass. I mean, HOAs are good for condos, but when you're a homeowner, all those things fall on you. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
are you sure you wanted to get the pool ready for the kids?
Well, I enjoy it too. So we had a couple people that said hi on Facebook. I just want to give them a shout out. Christine, hi Christine. We
Hi,
also
Christine.
have
Hi, Christine.
Sharon Fraser McLean. So
Hi,
as
Sharon.
yeah,
Hello.
this is a great thing. And maybe next time we can have questions and we'll answer the questions. The thing that I love here is I have a lot of people on this call right now that have a great knowledge of real estate, taxes, mortgages, underwriting, all those questions that no one really knows unless you specialize in that field. And I believe I have the best people to work this program. So all you really need to do is sign up,
Sign up.
do your part, make your calls, make your appointments, do what's asked of you. It's not going to be a lot. It's not like a class where you have to do homework and turn it in, but you might have to do a budget, which is going to help you, right? So all these things that we're putting in place is going to benefit you and your family. And we got Mila and Beverly and John, we're working on other things. We're working on ways for you to save money. So it helps you in your closing. It helps you maybe refinance something. I don't want to give away too many things, but believe me, this program is going to just keep building. So I just want to do this real quick. So myself, Marvin, and Beverly are mentors. Beverly, what does a mentor do? And how do they help their mentee? Can you go over that in this program?
Sure. So part of the program, why we specialize in helping folks in the community is because a lot of folks were afraid to walk into a bank, and from the redlining surveys, studies, being denied loans. And so us mentors are here to walk you through the process from the beginning of sign up all the way through closing. So we are here to answer questions that you may have about any part of the process. We review the home inspections with you because those can be very scary, and there's a long list, and it looks like, the world's coming to an end when you read one of those. But we'll point out the things that are important along with, your realtor. But anytime you want to call us or we check up to make sure that you're going along in the process and where you're at in the process. So it's really, it is wonderful, because when I got my mortgages, I had no one to help me, in the beginning, and I was lost, and I felt kind of embarrassed, or I didn't know the right questions to ask. And so we are here with you. We're in the community. It's word of mouth. Folks are telling other folks, and we're just trying to make it so much easier for you all to succeed in this process and not feel overwhelmed. So.
Great. So I'm going to throw this one at John. So just recently, last summer, all of a sudden the housing market goes crazy. Interest rates were really low, and people were just paying crazy prices for houses. How does the bidding war start? How do you have a client? How do you help a client win a house in a bidding war with this frenzy? These houses were going on the market and was sold within 24 hours. Can you just give us your expertise on that, because that's important?
So during this pandemic market is unlike we have ever seen before. We've had bidding wars before, but usually it's a very specific product, whether it's a really nice ranch home, but during this pandemic, there was no inventory, rates were cheap, and people were just going crazy, and they were buying, and they were doing things like offering 20, 30,000 over asking, giving up their inspection period, and covering appraisal gaps, and it's nuts. My clients, we sat down, we had a game plan. We would sit down, and John or Mary, we're going to an open house this weekend. You're looking for a ranch. You're approved for 175, but this is a 150 house, because we're always looking lower than our pre-approval. That gives us a little gap if we need to do repairs or if we need to bid higher. Let's talk about the inspection. We're not giving up our inspection period, but what we can say to the seller is, we're not going to renegotiate with you if we find an inspection issue under $5,000, under $2,500, whatever we feel comfortable with. So that seller knows that we're serious about, buying your house. And I've never done appraisal gaps. I don't agree with appraisal gaps. That is saying, hey, if the bank says it's only worth 120,000, but I've got a contract for 140,000, I'm willing to give you $20,000. To me, that's nonsense. We're not throwing bad money out the window. So we would step back and say to the seller, I'm sorry, this house didn't appraise. We need to work through this, and you need to lower your sales price to meet this and match this appraisal price. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. So Mila, so I hear a lot of people say, oh, I got to pay points on my closing. Which points, and why do I got to pay points? Can you go over that? And does this program have points? How does that work?
So for the Westside Legends, we do not have points, and you don't have to worry about any of that. You're gonna get an honest interest rate, and it's gonna be, we're gonna let you know what that is up front, and that's all you have to worry about.
So that's great. So Marv, if I just want to buy a house and not pay full price, do I have to pay full price, or can I put a different offer in, or how does that work?
You can put in any type of offer you would like, but if you're serious about the house, I would go along with what John Sapella said. If you're serious, you put in what it appraises at. As John said, you don't want to throw bad money out the window. So I'm going to just leave that with John Sapella. He already answered that question, and it's on you.
Right. So as you can see, there's not a question I can throw at this team that they're not going to give you, not a good answer, a great answer. And that's why this team was put together. So we can help people for first time do something where they have to not know what they're doing. Beverly mentioned it. When you go through a closing and the bank or underwriters ask you for another piece of paper, you're like, you know what? Keep it. Right? But we're here to say, listen, they just want this for that. If you explain to people why they need to do it, they understand it and they go through it. And listen, each one of us on this call has had one of their mentees call in tears, upset, disappointed, and guess what? That's what we do. We've been through it. So we're going to help you and bridge you through that. Okay. So I'm going to end this up real quick. I'll give everybody a chance to say goodbye. We will be doing this once a month on a Wednesday, and look for that information. So, John, say your parting shots and thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for coming out tonight, and I look forward to helping you buy your home. Good night.
Mila.
Thank you, everybody. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing everybody in person or out over the phone at GREYLOCK for your pre-qual.
Marvin Purry.
2 points. Why pay somebody else when you can pay yourself? And equity is your best friend. Thanks for coming. Take care.
Beverly.
Generational wealth. Let's get to it, West Side, Berkshire County. Reach out to us, fill out that Google sheet. Get your friends and family. Now is the time to move. No more paying rent. Good night.
Great. So from all of us to all of you, West Side, please sign up. I'll put the Google Doc information underneath there. Look for more information. Look out for your emails for the welcome letter. And guess what? You'll get that big key, like that family right there with all those smiles. That's what makes us happy. Good night, everybody.
Good night.